Salvete omnes. Today I will be talking about the portrayal of Cleopatra in Roman literature and in many regards today. Specifically, I hold as an example the ancient source Roman History by Cassius Dio. Cassius Dio lived from 150 to 235 AD, which is a couple of centuries after Cleopatra's death. This is important as he is not recounting the events of Cleopatra's life or the public sentiment around her as a primary source. Instead, he is recounting the Roman perspective on Cleopatra centuries later, when biases and inaccuracies have had generations to take root. Cassius Dio's Roman History is a lengthy work consisting of 80 books, each on different moments of Roman history. Here I'll be focusing on books 50 and 51. Cassius Dio portrays Cleopatra as a seductress who completely bewitched Mark Antony. Cleopatra represents the exotic, the foreign, and the sensual. In his Roman History, Dio tells the story of Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt and lover of Mark Antony, with strong emphasis on the lover of Mark Antony part, and a near erasure of her role as queen of a great empire. In relation to Cleopatra, he covers the lead-up to the Battle of Actium, the battle itself, and the aftermath, including Cleopatra's death. The quotes, "She had enslaved him so absolutely, and this more than all else made him seem to have been bewitched by her through some enchantment, remove agency from Mark Antony, and associate Cleopatra with evil magic." To understand Cleopatra's negative portrayal, we must understand the political situation that created this image. After Caesar's assassination, there were two major candidates to take over the Roman Empire: Octavian, Caesar's named heir, and Mark Antony, co-ruler of the Roman Empire at the time. In order to gain popularity with the Roman public, both men launched smear campaigns against each other. Octavian's was more successful, as evidenced by his rule. His campaign focused on Antony's reputation of loving the more physical pleasures, and most importantly aimed to contrast Antony with Octavian's return to traditional Roman values. An important and unpopular decision that cemented Antony's defeat was the donations of Alexandria. In 34 BC, Antony gave away many of his territories to Cleopatra and her children, named Caesarion, Cleopatra and Caesar's child, as Caesar's official heir, and divorced Octavia, which was an extremely public and humiliating affair. These actions enabled Octavian to paint Antony as a foreigner, bewitched by an exotic queen, rejecting traditional Roman values, and ready to turn Rome itself into an Egyptian territory. This not only portrayed Antony as un-Roman, but also emasculated him through pushing the narrative that he was being controlled by a woman, a foreign one at that. So we return to the Roman perspective on Cleopatra, which we now see was heavily shaped by Octavian's political agenda. Instead of being put down in history as a powerful ruler of her own right, Cleopatra became a symbol of foreign seduction created to emasculate and smear Antony. Cleopatra is actually described by Plutarch, a Greek historian, to be not actually really beautiful, but that was written by both Pliny and Cassius Dio, famous Roman historians, to reduce Cleopatra to a pretty woman that Antony was smitten with, in order to further the narrative that Antony cared only for the pleasures of the flesh and could be easily swayed from loyalty to Rome. To summarize, Cleopatra was used as a symbol for Antony's foreign interests as well as opposed to Octavian's return to traditional Roman values, and was also used to symbolize Antony's weakness through domination by a woman. She was also the scapegoat. In fact, Cassius Dio himself writes that the donations of Alexandria caused such fear in the Roman populace that the Senate declared war on Antony through declaring war on Cleopatra. Cleopatra was used as a scapegoat in order to direct war trails at a foreign enemy that were in reality directed at Mark Antony, since declaring war on Antony himself would entail civil war, a far messier process. Instead of marking fellow Romans who supported Mark Antony as enemies of the state, the Senate chose to mark Cleopatra as the enemy. So to answer the question, what did these ancient people value? I think that instead we should ask, what did Octavian value, since Cleopatra's reputation is so shaped by Octavian's propaganda campaign? He valued power, and he pushed the concepts and ideas of traditional Roman values as opposed to the foreign and the feminine represented by Cleopatra and thus projected onto Antony. And here are my works cited.